Hey,
It's bussin'.
what is it? What episode is it? 6? 7?
This will be 7, yes.
Yeah. Episode 7. Bussin'. Doing something for the first time is wild. And when you think of the outdoors, it's inherently wild. I think the most important thing for me is sharing an activity, sharing what I love with people that have not experienced that or have some kind of barrier related to it. The magic of being able to create that bond, that connection with an activity, a person, a place, that's special.
Well, thanks for making the trek all the way out here to Tall Oaks Campground, about 8 miles south of Ohiopyle. Got about 150 acres of camping going on here. It's not a standard campground that you see these days. You know, it's not gravel, lots of RVs. And the beauty of Ohiopyle, the beauty of Tall Oaks is how accessible we are. It's not hard to get here after work from the Pittsburgh area. We're just down the road, hop in the car, and you're here in a little over an hour. And you know, it's called Tall Oaks for a reason. We've got just an amazing forest on the property, and campsites are stuffed in around all these big, beautiful trees as opposed to one another.
All right. Like DJ Khaled said, another one, right?
Major key.
We back with it, yeah. Yeah, your boy Marcus, D-Boy here again.
Another one.
Yeah, let's get after it, man. What a beautiful day. Man, vibing around, looking at trees, enjoying my time.
It feels good, man.
Yeah.
To be out here. It's like just this calm.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. The only thing that's missing is the woodpecker. The woodpecker follows. Trust me, you'll get the story
It seems
later.
to travel with us.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. But man, what a time! We're back together today, just to kind of chop it up around the first, few episodes that we've had. The first 5 guests. It's been quite a journey. We wanted to just spend some time kind of chopping it up today, talking about some moments that stuck with both of us this far.
Yep.
And then maybe just set a vision forward over what you can expect for the next 5, because, we ain't stopping.
Yeah. Keep going.
So how you feeling?
It's the
let's
marathon.
just start with there. How you feeling?
Yeah, so the Pittsburgh Marathon this weekend, ran the 5K, which was awesome. It always just feels good to be back in community with large masses of people. I am very much like to run solo and independently, but I love the event experience with being with people and the emotions that inevitably arise, as well as people cross the finish line, as people like surprise themselves, good or bad, which is always excellent to see that. So to be able to take that on, I had no expectations. I kind of, for the first time, just went to an event with no performance expectation, which was freeing to just be able to consume within that space. Still ran sub 20, which was fun. So good there, and great to see the many people that I know within that space as well, as it pertains to running, building new relationships. I meet new people every race, and like connect with them outside of just running, which is always awesome and fun as well. So yeah, it's just like the start of the season, just for many people as well. Like Pittsburgh typically starts as like the marker for the spring and late fall season as well. So excited for that, and excited for the guests that are to come as we time that up as well. So fun on that front. As we're talking running as well, I want to give a shout out to Atlanta Track Club, that referencing back to my episode. Atlanta Track Club had a 5K, a commemorative run for an event for Ahmaud Arbery. So grounding that within my episode and mentioning just like the power of that, and like how, like no pun intended, like changed my life, with the way in which I consume running and the initiatives that I lead and steward to that. So that circling back was just like powerful. I mean, even like when I was looking at the results for that event as well, and like who was running it and the participation and things of that nature, I couldn't help but like center my perception around Ahmaud Arbery to begin with, the tragedy, and then, inevitably the way that it shaped how I've integrated, so to speak, and participated within the running space. So that's like a quick and easy segue as well, of just like within our 5 episodes as well.
Yeah.
What stuck out to you, even like things that you said as well. Anything in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, this huge shout out to the commemorative run in that spirit, in that space. Don't want that to be glossed over or forgotten about. Yeah, I think for the episodes that we've shot so far, which have been like very impactful to myself, I reference back to a lot of the moments around like Elisa's story and her intention around the climbing film, and I think that's really impactful, primarily from a lot of different vantage points. I think her like drive as a young individual was really inspiring. Just like charting that path forward, but thinking around the intersections of identity, just proximal location of wanting to represent Pittsburgh, but also wanting to represent the Latin community in climbing. I think the story and kind of perspective that she shared during our interview was enlightening for me. It was just eye-opening to hear that that intentionality around displaying a message, which I thought was really cool. And I think just like kind of referencing back to your interview, I mean, just being able to like chop it up with you around the whole running stories, that's always been fun. And just the impact that I think we both mutually had on each other by recreating in spaces, which was really cool. Yeah. But what about you?
The intersectionality of Elisa's story was just like moving and very complex. Yeah. That I think has to and continue to be discussed within not just like spaces of outdoors, but just like people, period. That we all bring different parts of ourselves, and our identity plays a large role within how we engage, interact, and consume spaces, which was very played out as she told it directly within her story, which was really impactful for me to hear that. From a stage, and not to put words in your mouth, perhaps you had the same experience as well, but I've had a couple of experiences where I'm like, am I crazy? It's like, am I the only one that's doing this, or am I the only one that is experiencing this as well? And hearing Elisa's story really kind of validated, that it's true, within the intersectionality and the things that we bring. Shequaya mentioned a lot of really cool things as well within her episode, with the way in which she got started, largely being like from a childhood experience, and then the evolution of her as a cyclist and her identity surrounding that, again, pulling that in, was really unique as well, with like that being a mode of transportation and like early adulthood, like it being the way in which she consumed kind of like the world as a child, all the way to now in the space that she's, hitting massive like endurance type of rides and then competing, which was like so unique to see the trajectory, but also the way in which her relationship with cycling continued to evolve as well. And then now with like paying it back to communities with slow rolls and like introductory type of rides, but also community-based rides, regardless of skill level, to bring people in and just foster that sense of community amongst others. I don't know if you had anything or you thought anything about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a spot-on assessment, and I think as I continue to like reference back to the episode and watch it and listen to it, the more I was drawn to other moments where Shequaya's statements and articulation of like thought and theory are moments that I was either sitting as a panelist and heard, or like was in a group and someone said something similar, but it never stuck with me. So I'm glad that Shequaya illuminated that, just kind of referencing to it, a conversation with Jamaica Dawes and his statement around, I pack 2 of everything. I mean, I referenced it before and have said it multiple times. In my mind, I was like, oh, he packs 2 of everything because it's a fail-safe method. Yeah. Because even I do that. I'm like, I'm going to pack 2 sleeping bags. I'm going to pack 2 tarps, because you never know what could happen. Right. He was like, no, I packed 2 of everything so I could welcome someone else outside.
That's
and
dope.
and Shequaya pretty much said the exact
Yeah.
same thing of like, you know, my experience of my brother saying, "Yo, come ride with me," is something that they're giving back every moment on the slow rolls of saying like, "Hey, I saw that you rented a pogo bike," or "I see that you followed Pittsburgh Major Taylor on Instagram. Come ride with us." Like,
Yep.
there's bikes, there's access, there's multiple different things we can provide, but come kick it with us. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out because yeah, during the interview I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. And I mean, and you mentioned, you know, the not just the pack two of everything, but also as you alluded to with Shequaya as well, I was just like asking,
yeah,
you know, like
For sure.
intentionally going and asking someone, because oftentimes it's like I'll catch that person later, or they don't really even want to come to begin with, or like this
Yeah.
won't be their jam, or this won't be their vibe, or so whatever the excuse may be. But just like asking the question of like, hey, you want to ride with us?
Yeah.
Or do you want to learn more about cycling? It's just like huge. And she
sure.
like reiterated that each time as she like talked about a couple of people that she extended that question to, and now where they are,
For sure.
you know, in that state and stage as well. So just being like a steward of a resource, and it's like she knows she has something great, the conduit of cycling, and like to steward it so appropriately
For sure.
to amplify that was just like, again, another thing that I was just consuming as we exited, and like as we've gone through numerous weeks at this point, that just stuck with me. Just the intentionality surrounding that was huge.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, not to let this one fall on deaf ears, I think Gerry's conversation was very special as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he displayed it of, he didn't know he was leading until like, you know, probably 5 or 10 years later.
Yeah.
He just thought he was kind of going through the motions, and capturing the stuff that he loved and putting it on Instagram as just, hey, I'll just do this out of love. But like realistically, he was charting the path.
He's a pioneer.
Yeah, it was like, yo, you did something that I'm trying to do now. And
Yeah.
it's Gerry's just influential in that perspective of having a resource that you can tap back into because he's already done it.
Yeah.
You know, and from a young creative, when a tool or an asset was just coming out, he knew how to capitalize
Yeah.
on it. It's like current times with a TikTok or
Yeah.
like another social media platform. He was a visionary of saying, yo, I could do something really cool here, especially for the outdoors and just
Yeah.
identity perspective. So
Yeah.
didn't want to forget that because that was huge. As he was telling me, I was like, all right.
Yeah. And I meant it. I was like, dude, you're a pioneer. You know, like what you're doing, what you did at that stage to be, you know, there's inklings of, you know, what Gerry has created and so many brands.
For sure.
And outdoor adjacent or unrelated to outdoors. And it's
sure.
like, this dude did this, you know, was huge. And as he was saying that, it was just like so cool to hear the story of like, of course now we know where Explorer Kentucky is, but like to hear that it of course started in his dorm room, and it was just like, hey, this is cool to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm gonna post like what is dope to me, and if you like it, cool.
Yeah.
If you don't, this is what I like. So
For sure.
is what I like, which was like awesome to hear that, because it made me think of like the number of people that post things, especially in today's climate, and it's like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Because I just like continue to think of like how many Gerrys were shut down, you know, within the space of not just outdoor recreation, but just like period. You know, how many creators that tried, and then like the internet fueled in the wrong direction, so to speak.
Yeah.
And instead of staying like steadfast, and it's like, no, this is me. You know, this is what I like. Thinking differently. You know, it's like, this is like what I like.
Shout out to supervision.
Shout out to supervision for sure. But that, admittedly, that made me think of that, because I'm sure, and we should have asked him, is like, there were naysayers, and we know there were.
Yeah.
Within that space that Gerry was creating, and just to again just stay steadfast and be a visionary within that space, and like to see how fruitful it's been now with like creating that ecosystem of people, but also largely broadcasting spaces for everyone in Kentucky of all places.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like that perception still exists. Gerry's played a great role in like channeling and combating, you know, all that comes with like
For sure.
Kentucky. But like he's done it, you know, and then
Yeah.
that's like at the end of this at the end of the story, it's like awesome, you know, to see all that he's done. But admittedly, it just made me think about that as well.
Yeah.
And you're in this creative posture in space too, you know. It's like it's not always like me saying, "Dude, this is dope," you know.
Oh,
I'm always saying that.
Oh, I
I'm
could
always
go on stories for
yeah,
that.
I'm
Oh
always
my
saying
God.
that to you because
Yeah.
I mean, you produce dope stuff. But I know that's not like within the
Yeah.
ecosystem that I know that's not everyone. Everyone doesn't have the same perception or look through the same lens as me.
Yeah.
So was that striking for you
Yeah.
when he said like all the things that he said, and then now I'm layering it with like my perception of like what I thought he was saying too.
Yeah,
as I
for
was
sure.
consuming.
No, I mean, that's spot on, because what he's done, I'm sure he experienced the same amount of either like self-doubt in moments or people saying like, hey, this isn't a realistic goal, you know, which sucks. And no matter how thick-skinned you are, that's going to get to you at some point, you know. He had a vision, and I think a lot of creatives have visions, but surrounding themselves, and even he referenced it, with people that are just like, yo, you can do this, is really impactful and really important. And he had that and had that space, and I feel like I have that, and I kind of know who to go to and say like, yo, what do you think about this?
Yep.
And I referenced that in my interview, but just the importance of having people around that care about your mission, are investing in you, and even to just call out CJ, like understanding that mentorship is not transactional. It's like, I'm not here to just sow away my seeds and say like, oh, I just invested this much knowledge in you. It's like, no, I'm here to give you the knowledge that you need when you need it and walk alongside you the entire journey. So, and that even, funny enough, references some Eastside Golf stuff that, I mean, again, the homies, like, gotta shout them out.
Eastside Golf is gold.
Oh my God. Yeah. But they put something out through Claim of Stories, which was really impactful around building with the people that want to build with you. And that's from a clientele perspective, but also a community perspective. If I have to sell you to come to an event, or if I have to sell you to be a guest on the podcast, it's not for you right now. You know? Like, when you get the vision and you get kind of the play and what we're trying to do here, without us having to tell you it for 2 hours, you know, that's when it's special. That's when you know that you got a partner and an ally. So shout out to Eastside Golf for sharing that, because I thought that was like pure gold. It's what I needed to hear in the moment.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, like, mentorship is so special, and I think we chopped it up about that in a previous episode as well.
For sure.
You know, the true power of mentorship, and there's a couple of like tenets that I like continue to hear, or that I've heard a couple of times about mentorship, and it made me think about Gerry, it made me think about CJ, it made me think about like all the people that you just mentioned, and shout out to CJ as well. The first of which was like, you can't grow where you don't show. As it pertains to mentorship. And then the second was, you can't lead where you have not gone. And those were like major tenets. And as you like alluded to, CJ and Gerry, Jamaica, like all of the stewards within, I mean, everyone that we've even had as a guest at this point in time has mentored or received mentorship from people that have done those two things, that have shown up and that have been there. You know, it's really hard for me to lead anyone in a space when it's like uncharted waters for me. You know, like, me as a mentor is to lead you through experiences that I've gone through, you know, in a certain respect. Of course, like, learning and a posture within that throughout as well. But those two things continue to permeate, you know, especially as you mentioned that, but also as as Gerry was just like giving us the list of like
For sure.
this person, this person, this person, this person, that's contributed, which has been awesome as well. But a lot of good things that Gerry mentioned there within his cast. And you mentioned the familiar like relationship that seemed to be in Elisa. Of course, we had like time with her pre and post, but also her mentioning, the relationships and the familiar impact that her dad, her family, with everyone's had on her, and then you mentioning that with Shequaya as well, and of course it being permeating throughout yours and my podcast experience as well. Anything that stuck with you there?
I mean, I think it was just all gold, like honestly, I don't think that people, or even I, recognize that relationships play such a large role in a great or negative experience.
Yeah.
And when you kind of take that to the outdoors, even with how we started, just welcoming that person outside.
Yep.
Because you have a relationship, trust, you have some foundation of safety and security of, while I'm outside, you're going to look out for me, I'm going to look out for you type of ordeal.
With freedom to fail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Without judgment.
Correct.
So.
Yes.
That's a huge role. And I think, Elisa played that visually in her mind, but spoken word of like, hey, my dad was so huge in my climbing experience. Like challenged me, but also knew when to say like, yo, I'm going to fade back and you climb when you want to, but also just being a trailblazer in a lot of different perspectives. Which from knowing Elisa's dad and knowing Elisa, I feel like from my perception, just looking in, there's no pressure to be a Mike. You know? Like he's not asking Elisa to be this. Yeah. Which is beautiful. But yeah, that was kind of permeated through everything, which is great to just be reiterated over and over again. Yeah. So
even if not familiar, it's like still everyone is able to identify that one person, that played that major role, regardless of the stage, with how they're consuming, contributing, or engaging with the outdoors, now. So all of those were huge, and it just like continues to reiterate the impact that each of us as stewards of, I mean, even of this cast, that we play within feeding others and nourishing others for curiosity, for creativity, or even just for engagement, whatever and however that may be. Whether it's just like, within your story, as you mentioned, of course I was there, but but even if it's just like setting up that tent and then cool, it's in the backyard, or maybe we'll chill out in it for an hour, or whatever that may be. Like we play a pivotal, and everyone plays a pivotal and critical role within creating that as well. So,
which that was a great point, and I do want to circle back to that. Like, we camped for the first time together in a very long time this past weekend. Yeah. So that was a vibe.
That's like the logistics behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. How you feeling, man?
Which is dope. No, I felt good.
It's the first time that I've camped with you.
It's been a minute.
Very long time.
It's been a minute, dude.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like it just like brought back all those memories, which is like the part of the experience of like consuming and just like the like very much just like rudimentary like experience of just like turning the cell phone off, chilling, and just like consuming, the space. So it felt good.
What I can say is when I plan bad, it goes bad. Setting up the tarp in the dark.
Yeah.
What a feeling, man. Timelines.
Everyone was
timelines fluctuate. Let's just say that.
Everyone was a benefactor.
What a great time,
But it's dope. I mean, it's like it's so much fun to like really live it, you know? It'd be really easy for us to just like throw up this podcast and interview these people and tell people to like be authentic with us and then us not really live it.
For
You
sure.
know?
And all that to be said, that was not a bad trip. So like,
Oh no,
I didn't fail at all.
No, it was great.
it
Trip
was a great. It was a great experience,
yeah,
right?
It was dope. But yeah, it'd be naive for us to like broadcast and do all this stuff and me not run events or me not
For
like
sure.
create community through running or for you to not hike and do backcountry things and for me not to hike and consume outdoors. That'd be like fraudulent for us for us to do that.
No doubt.
To be
No
quite
doubt.
honest. So it's been dope throughout the experience so far.
For sure.
And like so nourishing just to hear, you know, the stories. And we're just 5 in, you
Yeah.
know, at this stage throughout this process as well, which kind of is a good segue for the next block.
Yeah.
I'm amped because we got our first like running story that's not me, you know? I can't lie. I'm super amped about that. And I'm excited for who that's going to be, for sharing her running story and the impact that it's played in being outdoors and shaping, you know, the things that she's consuming and contributing to. So I'm super doped about that. I don't want to share that name. Also super dope and excited about the subsequent of who else we got lined up, which I don't know if you want to share
Yeah.
or if you don't.
I mean, I think the activities, I'll share just how they consume recreation. I mean,
Yeah.
really looking forward to interviewing a climber, which is going to be really awesome.
Yep.
I think their story and identity is beautiful. Interviewing a few homies, which
It's gonna be dope.
I can't wait. That's going to be a road show. Oh, that's going to be special. I can't wait. Oh,
It's gonna be
man.
gold.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to all interviews, but this one
Yeah.
has a close spot in my heart.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll be interviewing, like you said, a runner, which will be awesome. And then
Cycling.
Yeah. So that's the next.
We're in this season right now.
Yeah, the next 5 block at least.
Yep. Yeah.
So don't want to
This
give away
stage.
too much of our sauce, you know.
I'm dope. Man, I can't wait. And like the stories that of course we know that are on the docket coming in this next 5 are excellent.
For sure.
As well with them being authentic and sharing what led them to do what they're doing, which is really awesome.
For sure. So yeah, that's what's to come. I got a little distracted by this bird, man. I get so jazzed. I was like I don't know, man. I'm like a cat, like behind the glass that sees the bird and you're like, oh my gosh. Or like when you go puppy shopping and you're like, I just want to touch the puppy. I'm kind of like that with
And
the bird.
then-
I'm just like, I just want to see the bird.
And then you get the dog.
You hear that? Come on. Oh man, what a feeling. Yeah, that's what we got today. Wrapping up, closing out with just saying we're at Tall Oaks Campground. Now, I just want to say that
Yeah.
I really enjoy this space, and the
Yeah.
reason why we're doing this episode and every 5 episode wrap up in like a literal spot that means a lot to us is because I wanted to create something that would give the audience an ability to see an asset, especially a campground
Yeah.
like this. Like historically, a large barrier of recreation, aside from just the physical transportation piece or the assets, is just the ideology of I've never been there. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the vibe is going to be. So I wanted us to capture that.
Yep.
Like literally, this is. Do I want to give away this campsite? Like the number?
Yeah.
I guess I should, right? It's
Yeah.
only right.
Yeah.
This is A6.
If you don't, I will.
Yeah, this is my favorite site. So I'm like, every time I want to book it now, if I see that it's not available for me, I'm gonna be like, you sincerely outdoors listeners.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful spot, and I
is.
think it's an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. It illuminates all of the stuff that I really care about, like natural tree covered, beautiful birds that are chirping in just a really cool spot.
Yeah.
So I wanted to to pop up here to show people that and show, wayfinding tools of what the site looks like, restrooms, amenities, all this stuff. Even chatting with Eric so you can see like literally the owner.
Yeah.
Who's a really dope person that cares a lot about community recreation and having a space to succeed and flourish. So that's what you can expect for our every 5 episode wrap up.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be back here, but we've got some really cool spots, especially in the state of Pennsylvania, that we want to share, but also just welcome you out here because who knows? Maybe the podcast will have an event out here and you'll be kicking it with us. Probably not at A6, but A6 is mine, I'm just kidding. A6 is not mine. I'm more than willing to sign up on standby for A6.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Anything you want to close with?
No, I mean, just reiterating, I mean, that's the objective is for us to share, resources and assets that are here. So you're going to see a lot of, within the wrap-up episodes, a lot of our hidden treasures, that we share. And it's important to do so, just as you mentioned, to combat, fear and anxieties that people have as to like, I've never been there, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to pack, all that kind of stuff. So they can see, the amenities and resources that are available just in our state,
For sure.
We'll start there, within these recaps, in which we can do just that. Nothing else for me to wrap up. I mean, the 5 episodes were dope. Look forward to continuing this story, continuing this journey. Sharing and amplifying, but also stewarding the resources that we have for such. So big shout out to everyone that's been on the cast so far. Thank you for those that are coming. And thank you to those that have supported us throughout this process as well. Again, whether it's just like allowing us to use space, allowing us to amplify space, such as this, or even just like influencing by connecting us to the people that so to speak. So again, thank you. That's been a long list because I know you have a lot. I know I got a lot of people to thank in that regard as well. So if you feel compelled, so to speak, if you feel in some kind of way, emotion surrounding me saying that, you are one of those people to thank. So thank you. Instead of going down that huge and long list. Anything you got for us as we wrap?
No. I saw my first Blue Jay for this season. Shout out Cato. We saw that together. And this bird, man, I'm just
screaming.
Like, I gotta go kick it with this bird. Like, figure out what's going on, what he's looking for right now, what they're looking for. So, migratory bird patterns are popping up. By the time you see this, birds would have probably already migrated, but keep an eye out for that, especially for all of our homies in Pittsburgh. So get out to a park, check out some birds. The weather's turning, so
Go
get outside.
Literally,
we can't say that enough. But that's it. Check for us next week. Nothing's changing.
Every Monday.
Just wanted to check in with you.
Subscribe, like, reshare, contribute, do all the things that everyone's been doing to this point. Just elevate it. Continue to support us in that capacity. Because it's important.
For sure. Yeah. SincerelyYoursOutdoors.com.
Everywhere.
Patreon.com/SincerelyYoursOutdoors. All streaming channels for audio, YouTube, and socials.
And
hit us
every
up.
Podcast platform.
Yeah.
We got it cornered, so to speak, there with the market there. Cool.
All right, my man.
Another one.
Peace and love. Let's get this fire started.